How is it going, everyone? We got a big update on Expedition 33 as the game has hit yet another major milestone. We'll talk about that. Dynasty Warriors Origins is a game that I really enjoyed earlier this year, and the game will be expanding quite a bit come January of 2026, just about 1 year before the game initially dropped. And a bit of an update on Robocop Rogue City, a game that a lot of you guys have picked up, but if you have yet to, you might want to wait because there is a collection coming out with the unfinished business DLC. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But right off the top, do want to note that still, I would say, is my game of the year at this point. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has hit yet another major sales milestone as it has cracked 4.4 million copies shipped. Kind of funny because we hit 3.3 million, or they hit 3.3 million, and now 4.4 million, and this is copies shipped, so an incredibly impressive number. And remember, this number is only going to grow and grow. There is the physical release coming, the Lumiere edition, and then there's an edition, the Mirror edition on Amazon. I don't know how many units of that they are making. I do know a lot of people are going to be picking it up, and I'm sure that'll amp up the numbers quite a bit. On top of that, it's not like this game has been heavily discounted whatsoever. At some point, it'll be pulled from Xbox Game Pass as well, so I think a lot of people are going to end up buying the game because they thought so highly of it. Maybe they played it through Game Pass, and now they're going to end up buying it and buying a physical copy, and you still have the potential for a Switch 2 release, and there's DLC that probably will be coming at some point, so you can do some sort of Game of the Year edition in 2026. There's a lot of potential for that 4.4 million to grow to 5 million units, 6 million units, a Switch 2 release. Like I said, it can grow and grow. I think with the Switch 2 release, this is one of those games that it would really behoove them to try to get all the content on the cart, but yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that. These days, that seems to be few and far between, but Expedition 33 is one of those games that I think people would really appreciate that, and why not keep it going with all of the goodwill that they're building. But I don't think a lot of people expected this level of success from Expedition 33. I remember covering the game when it was officially revealed, or first revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase of 24, and I remember being blown away by it, but I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those games that people like me are super excited for, but it probably won't break into the bigger mainstream audiences, and more of the casual consumers are picking up. No, that hasn't been the case whatsoever. A lot of the more casual game players have been buying it, and, you know, with a game like Expedition 33, it's always going to target the people that are more so into gaming, but in the case of, you know, your niche JRPGs like A Legend of Heroes, and if you enjoyed Expedition 33, please pick up Trails in the Sky first chapter. I think you'll end up liking that quite a lot, but it's like, those games don't hit that level that Expedition 33 has had, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think the quality of the game, I think the art style, the aesthetics, etc., but man, for a new studio to establish themselves in this big of a way, like, you do see that every now and again. I think Game Science has done a tremendous job of that as well, but it's an incredible rarity, and the fact is Sandfall has done exactly that. And I think now, whenever Sandfall reveals their next project, they have so much goodwill, so much momentum that is already there, that their next game has the potential to be even bigger than this, and that's probably going to be a couple of years away, but still exciting stuff ahead, and good to see Expedition 33, a game like this doing so well at a $50 price point, and, you know, of a style of game that for so long we were said, or we were told that, you know, turn-based games can't resonate with the larger audience anymore. Well, that seems to have been completely debunked, and outside of that, you know, prior to Expedition 33, Metaphor did very well as well, so I think turn-based games definitely have a place, and maybe a lot of people are hoping for the day Final Fantasy does a mainline turn-based release, but we'll see how all of that turns out at the case of Expedition 33. 4.4 million copies shipped, and I think this number is only going to grow. There's a lot of potential with all of the physical releases coming out, and then on top of that, you've got the potential of a Switch 2 release, Game of the Year edition release with DLC if that does ultimately happen. And if this game ends up winning Game of the Year, which, looking at the lay of the land, I still think it's a good shout, as Expedition 33 to me is the front runner. Like, look at every game that's come out this year. Donkey Kong, I wouldn't give it to that. Death Stranding 2 I loved, but I would still put Expedition 33, and you could just look at the Metacritic scores. The Game of the Year comes down to the general consensus opinion, not an individual opinion, and they kind of just go with the game that I think the consensus opinion is something that at least when a game wins Game of the Year, the majority of people that are watching the Game of the Year awards and whatnot are gonna be like, alright, I can see why that won. And there are other options, like Yote's still gonna come out, Metroid's gonna come out, there's a lot of big games to come, but I think Expedition 33 right now is the front runner. So with that being said, a game that I wouldn't put in the Game of the Year category, but a game I really did enjoy earlier this year was Dynasty Warriors Origins, a game that I think is a great gateway into the Dynasty Warriors franchise, and alongside the announcement that it'll be coming to Switch 2 on January the 22nd, the downloadable content will also be dropping on the same day on January 22nd. This is a large scale piece of DLC, so we still don't have much information on what that'll entail. Dynasty Warriors Origins itself is a fairly lengthy game. Like, you can get a solid 40 hours out of that game, and there's replayability with the different decision making. It'll be interesting also to see how this game runs on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm sure it'll do fairly well. Like, anything that runs fairly well on the Series S, I would imagine it's going to run fairly well on the Switch 2. And, you know, I've been pretty impressed by some of the Switch 2 offerings as far as the performance goes. I think there's going to be a lot of games that are PS5, Xbox Series only that end up being on the Switch 2 as well. And I'm not saying they perform blow away as far as getting locked 60 frames per second or anything like that, but being playable, yeah, absolutely. And Origins is one of those games that it's a large-scale game, a lot of enemies on screen, so it'll be impressive to see that and how it's handled on a portable device like that. Lastly, Robocop Rogue City, the collection announced for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Hey, I think this game would do fairly well on the Switch 2. Maybe they'll get that eventually on the Switch 2, but the collection will include the base game and the Unfinished Business DLC. That'll be $49.99. Great price point on that. All things considered, albeit, you know, Unfinished Business is 30 bucks. It's essentially pricing Rogue City at 20. The thing is, when you have a collection like this, now it opens up the opportunity for the collection to go on sale, and potentially you could get the collection at, you know, $24.99 at some point, or $19.99. That's really the benefit of having collections be released. It's not running out and buying the collection on day one, but the fact you have a collection means that the collection can go on sale, and that's ultimately what's going to give you the best value possible. And Robocop Rogue City is a game that's been a plus title. It's been on sale for south of $10 quite frequently. So, you know, I wouldn't get this collection on day one, but in 6 months, a year after the collection comes out and it's down to $19.99 or $24.99, yeah, that'll be a great pickup, and that'll be something that you'd buy, not for $49.99, but I'd buy that for $24.99 or $19.99 or even $9.99. Hell, this stuff gets fairly cheap fairly quickly these days, in a lot of instances. You know, there's definitely the games like the Lies of P's of the world that hold up, but Robocop, on the other hand, not one of those games at that level. But that'll do it for me. Again, Expedition 33 has cracked 4.4 million copies shipped, an incredibly impressive number that I believe will just grow and grow. Dynasty Warriors Origins will be getting its large-scale DLC on January 22nd of 2026, and Robocop Rogue City will be getting a collection. That's out October 30th, but nobody should be buying that for $50, but ultimately, when the door is open to buy that for $19.99, $24.99, that'll be a great pickup. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.